Remember, the most committed wins. So here we are again. Told you I was going to get you. Live free or die hard. Wow. We need to get into this because I have a ton of notes. I could literally talk about every single scene in this movie. This is, for me, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. And if you recall, I didn't even give the original that. So this is the one movie that I can recall, maybe two, a sequel that outshines the original, in my opinion. And if you think I'm full of shit, I totally accept your opinion. But I don't think. I think this is a cut above an amazing fucking movie, and we got to get into it. But I want to throw a few disclaimers out there. These videos are completely unedited and unfiltered, so whatever I say, whatever comes out of my mouth is what comes out of my mouth. And hopefully I don't, screw everything up. If your kids are in the room, you probably want to ask them to leave or put your headphones on. And there will be spoilers, especially for the movie that I'm reviewing, which tonight is Live Free or Die Hard. The fourth in the series, outshining the original, in my opinion. Let's get into it. I will put a list of movies underneath this video, and I will have a header that says spoilers. So if you want to avoid spoilers for those films that I may talk about spoilers for, I will have a list, so have no fear. Let's move into this. Live Free or Die Hard is the title. Year released, 2007, so way after the others. Runtime 2 hours 8 minutes. I literally just finished it. Okay, the original is 2 hours and 8 minutes, which is the same as the one before this, Die Hard with a Vengeance. But I watched the unrated version, and I think it was like 220 something. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to double check again. Rated PG-13. Wait, what? Rated PG-13? Okay, the unrated version is definitely R. But the original release is PG-13, which is a little bit of a shock. Like, let's change it up a bit. They changed up a lot, and I'll mention that. The rating, wow, okay. Starring Bruce Willis, of course, Justin Long, Timothy Olyphant, Maggie Q, Cliff Curtis, which I love him in so many other things, Kevin Smith, Zelshko Ivanek, which I've seen in tons of stuff. He's fantastic. Matt O'Leary, which I have notes about. Like, what? Matt, really? Okay. Directed by Len Wiseman. So, different director. We've changed it up. Produced by Michael Fottrell. I hope one of those is correct. Written by John Carlin, based on his article, A Farewell to Arms. I found that interesting. And screenplay by Mark Baumbach. Music by Marco Beltrami, so this is not Michael Kamen. So we've done a different director, different music, and it pays off. This movie, okay, we're at number 4. Let's keep the character, but change up the formula, which I love. It's time to change up the formula. 3 did a good job. We did good, but we can't expect that to happen again. Lightning in a bottle. Let's change things up, but keep the character the same, which made this movie work 1,000%. 1,000%. Changing John's hairstyle. Okay, like I said, this is like, I'm totally fine with that. In the Lethal Weapon movies, they made a point of him being a rebel and a point out of Martin's hair being the way it is. So when he, all of a sudden, in the fourth one, cuts his hair, you're like, and there's no explanation. I was a little frustrated by that the first couple of times I watched it, and then, had to relax and just go, okay, this is years after I get that he just changed his hairstyle and nobody said anything about it. Now, this Die Hard does not, I don't feel like they never made his hair an issue, whereas they did in Lethal Weapon. His style, his hair was an issue. They actually talked about it, him putting his hair in a ponytail in the third one. Anyway, what I'm getting at is changing John's hair in this movie didn't make a big difference, and we didn't have to mention it or talk about it. But Lethal Weapon, it is an issue because we already talked about it, and to change it and not say anything was awkward. But I'm fine with this. So, Die Hard, the original, 1988. Die Hard 2, 1990, so only 2 years after. Die Hard with a Vengeance was 95, so there's 5 years added onto that. This, Live Free or Die Hard, is 2007, so we are talking 12 years after Vengeance. So, of course, things are going to be different, and it's okay that we're not, this is not a drama. We are not going to spend time spelling everything out for you. You're going to figure it out on the way. And I love that. You're going to figure it out on the way. Oh, my note about Matthew O'Leary. Matthew O'Leary, wait, what? He's... I was shocked to see that he is in the opening titles. His name is in the opening titles, Matt O'Leary. He is on like the top list on IMDb of actors in this movie, Matt O'Leary. He is literally in it. He dies at 2 minutes and 12 seconds. He has 2 fucking lines in the movie. Who negotiated? Like, Matt O'Leary's fucking agent was a bomb. The fact that you have 2 lines, you died 2 minutes into the movie, and you got fucking billing in the front of the movie? Your name was in the opening credits? Like, your agent was the bomb, dude. The bomb. Because you're not Samuel L. Jackson. You're not Sean Connery. Matt O'Leary. Like, how many people even know him? How many people even know what he's done? I do. I know a handful of things he's done that I enjoy. But he was not, Tom Holland. He's not a huge name. And to have him in the opening credits and he dies 2 minutes in and he has 2 lines? Holy shit, his agent was the bomb. The bomb. Okay, let's move on. Justin Long. Oh my God. I had the hugest crush on him for like a brief moment, and I can say that there are some other actors I'm not going to mention here, but there are other actors the same thing. I had a huge crush on them for like a brief moment, and then it like kind of went away, and I was like, oh, I'm done. But this absolutely so, and his character in it is like somebody I would totally date. Like I said about, what was it? No Hard Feelings. Like that character. It's not only Andrew Barth Feldman that I find very attractive, but his character in the movie, I would totally date him. Like oh my God, I'm the perfect, I'm totally attracted to that personality. And so this too, Justin Long's character in this, Matthew Farrell, totally somebody I would date. I would totally be I am attracted to this character. It's hilarious. He's such a great character. He does such a great job in this movie. It's fantastic. So here we are again, a holiday. They say the holiday weekend, but we know that it's July 4th. I did see this movie in the theater. I do own it. And I'm like, didn't it come out? Wasn't it released like on 4th of July weekend or just before 4th of July weekend? Yes, released June 27th. So just before 4th of July weekend. And I don't know if I saw it on opening weekend or not. I would have to look. I could look. I mean, I might as well. But like I said, I have all my ticket stubs. But of course, it's a holiday weekend. It's not Christmas this time. It is 4th of July, which I love. Let's mix it up. Let's put it in a different town. Like I said before, I love that they're all in different towns. This now we go back to Washington D.C. Now Die Hard 2, Die Harder, was not necessarily around D.C., but it was at Dulles Airport. The entire movie took place at Dulles Airport. which is fine. I like that all of them like set in a different place, which was cool. And then now we're back to a place we've already been, which is Washington, D.C. But now we get to go around Washington, D.C. I did see it opening weekend, June 28th, the day after it opened. June 28th, 2007 is the first time I saw it. And I saw it multiple times in the theater. I'm not going to count how many times. I'm not going to waste your time. Oh, I'm sorry I pulled your not boyfriend out of the car. You're damn right you're going to bed alone. So this opening scene with... this first scene with John and Holly, I love that. Here we go. How much time has it been? 12 years now since the last movie, but even longer since the first movie where Lucy was, 3 or 5 maybe. Okay, because she answers the phone in the first one. Is Daddy coming home with you? So I love that now we see Lucy at college. She's an adult. She's at college. I'm not a huge fan of... Who plays Lucy? Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's okay. I think she's of the things I've seen her do, she's the best in this movie. 100%. I love her in this movie. She's fantastic. But the other things I've seen her in, I haven't loved her in. This is the only thing that I've seen her in that I'm like, wow, she's great. She's fantastic. This is perfect. Perfect. She was in that High School High, which I love. High School High. It's so much fun. It's not a 5 out of 5, but it's a fun movie. And she's okay in it. Anyway, in this, she's fantastic. I love that this scene establishes where John's at. Yes, we are 12 years after we last left him. We want to know where he's at. Not 100%, but we do get that he's estranged, not just from his wife, we're assuming, but definitely from his kids, where she's like, I'm not going to go into the whole Gennaro McClane thing. That's one thing that I was like, I could have done without. It was fine. I could have done without it. It didn't ruin anything. It didn't make anything seem, awkward, but I was like, they could have left that out. Okay, moving on. The low jack. So that's not something I would have turned on. No, John, we turned that on. So I like that they play with the fact that John's older. He's definitely a quote unquote old man here in this movie, and they play with it. But the thing is, they do it tastefully. Throughout the movie, they play with his age, but they play with it tastefully, and they also show that he is absolutely still the John McClane from the first one. He may be moving a little... No, I mean the stunts, and I have so many notes about that. The stunts are fucking amazing in this movie, and he does such a great job that we may see him move a little rough sometimes because he's older, but he's still pushing through, and he's still the same. He is absolutely 100% par with the original John McClane, and I love that's one of the things I love about this movie. This is the OG John McClane, and I love it. I love it. Bruce Willis and Justin Long are amazing together in this movie. Their chemistry is brilliant. Now, is it the same chemistry as Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson? No, it's not the same chemistry as them, because they had brilliant chemistry as well in the last film. It's a different chemistry, but it's just as amazing. These guys work so well together. The dialogue is written so well. Again, the dialogue is amazing, and these characters play off each other so well. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it. We haven't skipped a beat. The movie is just it's just amazing. Good luck at the Bad Timing Awards. So Justin Long they wrote a very good character for him, and he does such a great job at this character. I've seen him do other things, and he's semi this kind of character in other things, but not quite. This is a little more awkward, a little more shy, a little more geeky than some of the other characters he's played, but he has played characters like this before. The first time I saw him was Galaxy Quest, and he was total nerd, total Trekkie. You know, I mean, that's what that movie was basically like, making fun of Star Trek and Trekkies. He's total Trekkie, you know, goofy, ridiculous. He was great in that. So to see this character a little more fleshed out, a little more for him to do, obviously, but he does it brilliantly. I got some other cool shit if you want to break that. Is that... You play with dolls? Ooh, is that supposed to come off? No, but it's much more valuable when it's broken. I got some more cool shit around here if you want to break it. Again, like I said, the dialogue is brilliant, and these guys work well together. Work so well together. Holy shit. This first action scene... Okay, yes, 12 years has passed. And we have come a long way from 95 to 2007 as far as action films, and stepping up the bar for action films. I mean, how many Mission Impossibles have been in that time frame? How, if you watch the original... I didn't think I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm a huge James Bond fan. If you go back and watch the original James Bond, Dr. No, the action is nothing like, the fight scenes are nothing like the fight scenes we see today. Absolutely not. The car chases are nothing like we see in James Bond movies today, or any action movie today. I will say that the second James Bond film, From Russia with Love, it is a hallmark. It is still to this day a flagship for action, for fight sequences. They made ground. They broke records in this fight scene between Robert Shaw and Sean Connery on the train. The choreography, which they paid an homage to later on when they did a Daniel Craig. Which one did they do that in? Skyfall or Spectre? It's Spectre. It's Spectre. They do it in Spectre, yes, with Bautista. So they pay an homage to Russia with Love in Spectre with Bautista on the train. That fight sequence on the train. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, that broke ground in like changing the way we do action sequences, fight scenes, changes the way we do fight scenes. So that movie was amazingly groundbreaking. And from the 60s to 2007, I mean, we're talking about a quantum leap in action sequences and how they're filmed, and how how fight scenes are choreographed and filmed and made to look. And not only that, but from the Die Hard series, so 1988 was the original, to 95, which was With a Vengeance, to 2007. So huge jump. So the action sequences are amazing, and the stunts are brilliant. And I don't know if Bruce Willis did all his stunts. I know he didn't do all of them, but some of these in this first action sequence where he throws the refrigerator down, and then he hits that guy through the drywall, and then he falls to the ground and then goes after his gun. All this great movement and camera angles. Oh my God. That's why this movie is absolutely like it is a quantum leap over the original, in my opinion. It is better than the original. I mean, the original, in my opinion, was a 4.59, and this is a 5.5, a 10, because it's such a cut above, and it keeps you engaged, and the camera angles are gorgeous. Oh my God. So there's so much brilliant cinematography, and I have this note for later, but I might as well say it now. The cinematography in this is brilliant. I can't say that about the original films, the first three. The cinematography was not notable in the first three, in my opinion. This, it's absolutely notable. A lot of the sweeping camera movements that they do, a lot of the quick cuts, the colors, the almost sepia color, some of the blues, the shading, a lot of the colors, a lot of the movements. I mean, it's just, and a lot of the camera angles too. Oh my God, this is brilliant. This is so well done. An amazing action film. Even if you take it out of the franchise of Die Hard, it's an amazing action film done so well. So well. And like I said, the stunts are done so well. Now, if it was there are times where you're like, that's definitely Bruce Willis doing that. But then there are times like that, I doubt that's Bruce Willis, but it still looks fantastic. It's done so well. I love that he shoots the Terminator. I'm sure that was not lost on the filmmakers, that he shoots the Terminator and the Terminator is the one that falls down and sets the bomb off. I like that. That was cool. Did you see that? Yes, I saw it. I did it. Okay, so John McClane. So the witty banter, the fun things about what? Oh man, did I have this note earlier and I didn't say it? Probably. Marco Beltrami. Okay, we have somebody different doing the music. It's not Michael Kamen. So when that first action sequence is happening and they go out in the hallway, the one time they go out in the hallway, you can hear Marco Beltrami is playing with the original Michael Kamen soundtrack. He's putting that in there, and he's paying homage. He does this multiple times throughout the movie when John is being the best John McClane he can be. Marco Beltrami throws in that little bit of the original soundtrack. It's brilliant. If you didn't notice it, go back and watch it. When John is being the best John he can be, Marco likes to throw in the original soundtrack, which is great. I love it. He understands that this is a franchise and we've got to throw that in, and he does it at the perfect points. Yes, I saw it. I did it. So John is definitely John still. Weren't you scared? Yeah, I was scared. Yeah, it didn't seem like... What did he say? Really? This is you being scared? Because you seem really calm. And have you killed people before? Yeah, but not for a long time. So here we are, really establishing the fact that we have this character. We're building nostalgia for this character. It's great. But we also have a brand new, young character. So it's not like with A Vengeance, where we have his partner is very much probably the same age. But now we have somebody that's way younger and just getting to know John, and we want to build that rapport with the two guys. But we also want to point to the fact that we've been with John McClane all this time, and here we are, back to John McClane. I threw this note in here. Maggie Q is fantastic in this movie. I love that she really holds on to this brilliant character. This character is very strong-willed. She's a little stoic, which is fine, but I feel like she is not I believe her 100%. She is not a throwaway character. We are not just casting some gorgeous woman to distract us or to throw a gorgeous woman in an action film for eye candy. She actually, I believe her 100%. She's amazing in this film, and she commits to her character, which I really appreciate in this film. I had this note, wonderful cinematography. I already said that. The camera angles, even the color is brilliant. A lot of times in this film, they turn up the volume on the camera angles and movement during the action sequences. I mean, they really crank it up. When it's not action sequences, they chill out a little bit. The colors are still there, the angles, none of the angles. The color is still there, the shading is still there. But they turn up the dial, man. When it comes to the action sequences, the movements, the sweeping movements, the camera angles, and the color are just like, wow. Like, if you've seen this movie and you were like, it was passable, I challenge you to watch it again with the hat of cinematography on. Think about the camera movements. Think about the angles and the cuts, the editing, the cuts. Think about cinematography when you watch this movie. I challenge you to watch it again and think about that, because it is beautiful. We dismiss it because it's just an action movie. But why dismiss just an action movie when it can have just as brilliant cinematography as any other film? Why is it that a dramatic film is inherently better at cinematography than an action film? I don't think so. This proves it. Like, this is gorgeous. And I will say, I will throw this in here. Harry Potter 6, The Half-Blood Prince, is the most fucking gorgeous film of any one of them. It is like, how did this movie make it into this series? Because it is phenomenally and so much farther above any of the other ones when it comes to cinematography. It is gorgeous. The camera angles, the movements, the pacing, the music, everything. You're like, David Yates did this one and he did like the last 4 movies, and this is like nothing like the other movies he directed. Nothing like it. It's brilliant and it's gorgeous. So, yes, you can find brilliant cinematography in places where the Academy might not pay attention to or might not take serious. And this is one of them. Harry Potter, The Half-Blood Prince is one of them. I don't know if it was nominated. I would have to look it up. But it deserved to be fucking gorgeous. And this, another one. Brilliant, gorgeous cinematography, especially the camera angles and movements and a lot of the color. You know, and that the Academy doesn't take it seriously is a little frustrating. A little frustrating. Okay, I have tons of notes. 27. Let's get off the soapbox. I like Timothy Olyphant. I do. And a lot of the other stuff that he's done, I find him brilliant. In this movie, I feel like he tries too hard sometimes. I'm gonna skip that note, and you know what? I'm gonna go right into this next note because it's relevant. I was watching it and I was going, maybe it's not Timothy's fault that I feel like he's trying too hard. I think that maybe, because I've seen him do other stuff and I'm going, wow, he's great in other things, but this, I feel like he's trying too hard. He's in that anger mode too much. And I'm like, no, this doesn't work for me. I feel like you're trying to be this frustrated anger character and it's not working for me. And previously I had thought maybe it was just his acting choice, maybe. But tonight, when I was watching it, I thought to myself, you know, maybe the writing and the directing just went the wrong direction for this character, Thomas Gabriel. Maybe they just went the wrong direction for this character. This character is not playful. He is not enjoying himself. He is not having any fun. He is very serious and dedicated and angry and upset most of the times. And I feel like that's just the wrong direction to go if you want a villain that we can love and identify with. Now, there are villains that do absolutely despicable things, but we still love them. Darth Vader is one. Absolutely. Oh my God. He does despicable things throughout his tenure as a villain, but we still revere him as like an amazing fucking villain. We love him. We love to hate him. And so let's go back to this series, Die Hard. Hans Gruber is a perfect example. He is very playful. he's serious to a degree, absolutely, because there are moments when he is absolutely serious, but there are moments where he's playful and having fun. You can tell this is a job. He doesn't get really frustrated and serious until the very end, where he might not be getting away with what he wants to get away with, and so he's frustrated, and that's when he blows up at Holly. Since I'm moving up to kidnapping, you should be more polite. So at that point, he is strained. And he's a little more serious and a little more frustrated, absolutely. But for the most part, throughout the entire film, he's been playful and having fun with what. It's Christmas, Theo. It's a time of miracles, so be of good cheer and call me when you hit the 6th block. So he's playful. If they would have went that direction with this character, Thomas Gabriel, I think it would have been so much better. I would have enjoyed his presence more. I think Timothy Olyphant could have a little more fun with it. We are not watching Seven. We are not watching Silence of the Lambs. We don't need somebody that serious and angry. We're watching Die Hard, which is fun. Your main character is sassy and fun. Why can't we have a villain that is that way too? I think they went the wrong direction with this villain. And I don't necessarily not like this villain. I do like this villain. He's good. I just feel like at times that he's trying too hard, and it might not be his fault. It might be the fault of the fact that we went one way with the villain. Okay, let's move. Zeljko Ivanek. I love him, but he doesn't have nearly enough to do in this film. He has the capacity to do so much more than what they gave him to do in this film. And I feel the same way about Cliff Curtis. Cliff Curtis is like this every guy man, every guy but white. He can play every fucking ethnicity except for white, and he's brilliant at every single one. Just look at his career, like, Training Day and Collateral Damage, and he's wonderful. He's great. I like him a lot. And in this movie, I don't think they gave him enough to do as the character, because he can handle so much more. That first video package is so creepy and so great with all the presidents. I tried to find more Nixon. With all the presidents, wow. Oh, that gave me goosebumps the first couple of times I've seen it. Now I've seen it so many times I don't quite get goosebumps, but it's great. It's great. It's a fire sale. Okay, so here's where we start getting the hints of what's going on, and it raises the stakes. When he talks about a fire sale, now we're starting to get serious. Okay, now we get where we're going with this. This is not random. Justin Long, this just shows off his ability in this character. If he knew half the stuff I knew, his fuzzy little head would explode. So he does such a great job at this character. What's later on he asks about, can we just go in and get some ketchup packets? I'm really low blood sugar. He does a great job at this character. Yes, it was written well for him, but he also does a really good job with it. It's great. I love that Matthew Farrell is the one that notices the girl Mai's voice on the radio. Like, wait, that's them. We're following them. And then John, you had to dispatch, you had to dispatch all units for all the naked people walking around. Give me your boss. Like, this is classic John McClane. I fucking love it. Love it. Classic John McClane. And again, here John McClane is being classic John McClane, and Marco Beltrami puts in the original hints of the original Die Hard score, Michael Kamen's score. It happens multiple times throughout the movie. Watch it again. You'll notice when John McClane is really being John McClane, Michael Beltrami throws in that, like, this is the original Die Hard. We're going to throw this in. Remember, this is Die Hard. I love that first conversation between John McClane and Thomas Gabriel. Even though excuse me, even though we don't know who Thomas Gabriel is yet, we still, that first conversation with him is brilliant, where we get to know what's happened. You know, he works so hard, he barely gets paid, he's divorced, you know, all this stuff, you know, and then Gabriel promises, hey, I'll wipe all your debt clean and I'll take care of your kids if you just kill Matthew Farrell. But what does John McClane do? You know, that sounds like really tempting, but how about instead I kick your ass and throw you out of your own party? Here's John McClane, unwavering, doing the right thing. Love it. Love it. So here we have John McClane again, and is the quintessential John McClane that we've fallen in love with for how long. So they are playing on this nostalgia factor, but they're doing it perfectly. And that's what makes this movie like a cut above, because of the nostalgia factor, which is another reason why I love Spectre. Spectre is probably my favorite James Bond film of all of them, because they're playing on those nostalgia factors. Again, Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout is probably one of my favorite Mission Impossibles, because again, they are playing on, we've been with this character for so long, we're doing all these cool nostalgia factor type of things, and if you really pay attention, if you watch these films, you'll get what I mean. They are relying on nostalgia factor, like we've gone through all kinds of shit with this character, and so we're also playing on the fact that this character is somebody we have been through and we care about. So the fact that he's divorced, that he barely makes any money, and you know his kids mean a lot to him, we are playing on that nostalgia factor, and it works. For those three films that I just mentioned, the nostalgia factor works 1,000%, because the writer did it right, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I love it when he takes out the fire hydrant to take out the helicopter. Fuck yeah! Like every time I watch that, I'm like, who would have thought of that? Who would think to do that? Fucking John McClane. It's brilliant. Yeah. He runs over the fire hydrant, takes out the fucking helicopter. The beautiful sweeping camera movements. Oh my God. And when they go into the tunnel and the camera movement, it's just, the cinematography is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Just because it's an action movie doesn't mean it can't have brilliant cinematography. These these sweeping, beautiful camera movements in all these action sequences are amazing. Amazing. And the tunnel part is brilliant, where he opens both sides of the tunnel and then shuts the lights off, and you're like, fuck. And then Matthew Farrell gets out and he's like, don't get out. Don't get out of the car. It's fuck. You can't see anything. Oh, it's great. And the action sequences. Oh my God. I know watching it now, you can kind of tell, oh damn, that's computer. But at the time, it looks so real. Holy shit. When they're in the middle and the car flips up and like, almost hits them, but hits the two cars between them. Like, it's amazing. Oh my God, I'm like so on the edge of my seat, like nails digging into the handles on my seat. Like, it's intense. It's brilliant. It's intense. The action, the stunts, the action sequences, it's just wonderful. The John McClane banter. When he tells Matthew to chill, and then he goes after, just pick up the kid from New York. You had a really easy pickup. And then, like, you think you can get rid of me by throwing it, like, turning the lights off and throwing cars at me. The John McClane banter is gorgeous here. And you know, it's like putting on comfortable clothes, you know. Bruce Willis is just putting on the John McClane, and he is brilliant in this movie. This is brilliant John McClane. And then he goes after the fucking helicopter with the car. This is a bad fucking idea, he says, and then he jumps out of the car and he's like, oh my God, the stunts are amazing. I know that a part of it you can contribute to computer, I get it, because they do use a lot of computer, but still, he's the quintessential John McClane. And then he throws the car after the helicopter. You just killed a helicopter with a car. Okay, so let's get off the John McClane. And another reason why I love Justin Long. This is a great secret. I love this. And it's not just Justin Long, but it's the character that they wrote for him, Matthew Farrell. This part makes me like, I would totally date him. Oh my God, he is totally my type. When John McClane asks him, how are you doing? He's like, well, I skinned my knee and my asthma is acting up a little. Like, really? Like, really? That part makes me laugh every time. I love it. Not only does it make me laugh, but it makes me like, I would ask you on a date in a heartbeat. You know, I skinned my knee and my asthma's acting up. Whatever, I'm okay. Oh my God. I almost just died. I killed a helicopter with a car, and you're like, your asthma and your skinned knee. Okay, I get it. Oh, right after that, the chaos in just everyday life. Holy shit, I got a lot of notes. Let's just move on. The blowing up of the White House was great. I love that it's fake, but how to drive fear into the heart of people. Because people in California if they were watching that, had no idea that was fake. How many people are watching that on the TV? And how many people might have thought that was real? Not everybody is in Washington, D.C. and can see that it was fake. Virtual terrorism. This is virtual terrorism, he says. And that's damn right. And it's brilliant to show how terrorism can be. It doesn't just have to be 9/11. It can be this, which is virtual terrorism. We are fucking with computers. We're fucking with your way of life and changing the numbers. Of course they're freaking out. They think that everybody's stealing their money. That's what he says. They think that someone's stealing their money. I think that's what he says. It's all fake. It's all computers. It's all numbers on a screen. And I'm freaking you out. You know, I'm terrorism, virtual terrorism. Wow. Oh, when he's like, how do you know all this? He's like, dude, I don't know. There's a lot of rattling around in there. That's how I am with movies. And movie quotes. There's so much rattling around in there. I wouldn't know how I'm supposed to know all that. When he like is like hooking into the satcom and he's like, how do you know all this? I don't know. It just sticks. So for some reason, that's the information that sticks. And for some reason, movies, film quotes, emotions, things like that, that's what sticks. And I don't know. I just know it. I know it. The car robbery. The car robbery is funny as hell. I love it when he's like, when he knocks the front of it and the airbags come out and then John rips his airbag off and then he's like, how did you do yours? And he's trying to, again, I would totally date this guy. He's like, how would you do yours? And he's trying to like rip the airbag and he can't. I don't know if you have a dad, but I do. And my dad is my hero. And the only chance I have is to get into the hospital right now. This sequence is hilarious. I love it. It's fantastic. It's brilliant for this character, Matt Farrell, to do this. And the fact that it works and she starts the car is hilarious. And of course, that's perfect. That's brilliant. Of course she starts the car. Oh my God. Yes. Oh. Okay, so I love this sequence in the car. When they are driving and he's like, and John says, I'm nobody's hero. He says, you saved my life like 3 times just today. And he says, you know what you get for being a hero? You get divorced, your wife can't remember your last name. Your kids don't talk to you anymore. I don't remember exactly how he says it, but it's such a real moment and such a wonderful moment, and from that moment comes one of the most brilliant lines of the movie, when Matthew Farrell says, "That's what makes you that guy." If anybody else were here to do it, I would let them do it, but there isn't anybody to do it, so I'm doing it. And Matthew Farrell says, "That's what makes you that guy." God, that sums up John McClane in one fucking line. The entire John McClane series is not wrong place at the wrong time, which they say multiple times throughout this series, throughout the movies. John McClane, the whole series is about this one line. That's what makes you that guy. When he's like, if somebody else was here to do it, I would let them do it, but there isn't anybody to do it, so I'm doing it. That's what makes you that guy. Boom. That sums up our feelings about that's it. That's John McClane. Like, that's why we love him. That's why we love John McClane. Holy shit, Mai is a badass. Like, I have tons of... Mai is a badass. And this part where at the natural gas plant, we're like, she's fucking awesome. Like, she beats the shit out of John. But John just, like, through brute force and through, like I said, the most committed wins. How did I begin this? The most committed wins. Which is another which is another Bruce Willis film. Anyway, moving on. He is committed to taking these guys down, and Mai and Gabriel's commitment is doesn't match. To be honest, if you just look at it, his commitment is far above theirs, and that's why he proceeds. That's why he continues to overcome, even though Mai is kicking his fucking ass. He is committed to stopping them way more than they are to doing what they're doing. The action sequence is great. Like, what the fuck? Like, unbelievable action sequences. Like a car in at the gas station, like ramming into her and then into the elevator shaft. Like, holy shit. Oh my god, that whole sequence in the elevator shaft is amazing. Wonderful movements, wonderful camera angles, and just like, what the fuck is... Really? This is where we took it? So this raises the bar 1,000% from the original, Die Hard film, which at the time had wonderful action sequences, absolutely. But this one is like, holy shit, these action sequences are like amazing. Like Mission Impossible, like raises the bar. Absolutely. Oh yeah, the little Asian kick, the little Asian chick that likes to kick people. The little Asian chick likes to kick people. Last time I saw her, she was at the bottom of an elevator shaft with an SUV rammed up her ass. John McClane, man, the quintessential John McClane. These lines are just out of nowhere and brilliant and fantastic. This is Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is Bruce Willis, John McClane, revisited, rehashed. Because I get the same amazing, out of nowhere, brilliant lines from Ryan Reynolds as I do Bruce Willis in the Die Hard series. Well, actually, not just Die Hard, because he had fantastic, wonderful, hilarious lines in R.E.D as well, and Hudson Hawk and some other stuff. So Bruce Willis is Ryan Reynolds is the Bruce Willis 2.0. I that same personality, and just brilliant. It's wonderful. Just like, Jim Carrey is the modern day, or was the modern day, because he's not really modern anymore. I guess he's not really in the main scope right now. But like Jim Carrey is the Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke was the early Jim Carrey. Like, his physical comedy was like out of this world and brilliant. And Jim Carrey as well. Physical comedies out of this, like, just brilliant. Out of like the next level of, Okay, we're talking about Live Free or Die Hard. We're not talking about cinema overall, which I could talk about forever. As you know, I could just go on forever. Only John can make somebody that crazy, or only John can drive somebody that crazy. So you remember that line from the original film? He's still alive. Only John can drive somebody that crazy. Here we see it again. Gabriel loses his shit. Because John's like, oh yeah, the little Asian chick, she... Last time I saw her, she was at the bottom of the elevator shaft with a SUV wrapped. Gabriel loses his shit because of John McClane. John McClane drives him nuts. And it's wonderful, and it's brilliant to see. And it reminds me of the original. Reminds me of that line from the original. Okay, so now we know... Now we know it's Thomas Gabriel? Yeah. So he tells Bowman. He shows Bowman the screenshot of when they were talking to Thomas Gabriel, and Bowman's like, holy shit, that's Thomas Gabriel. This is, yes, he got fired, blah, blah, blah. So here's a whole nother level. Now we get the level to which Thomas Gabriel is at. Holy shit. Okay. So this adds more tension. And then, okay, so the natural gas explosion, when he sends the natural gas and that place explodes, but John runs down with Matthew Farrell, jumps in the van, and to shield them from the blow, that is obviously, to me, to my trained eye, I don't know if it is to you, but to my trained eye, that is obviously a set. And if that's the only real time where I can go, wow, they really kind of fucked up. That just, it looks like a set. Nothing looks real. It almost looks painted and fake and styrofoam. It looks like a set to my eye. And if that's the only time I can really point out a flaw in the filmmaking, then absolutely this deserves a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Absolutely. And then they shut down the electricity. Holy shit. That's like, whoa. We're at 15 minutes and I have 3 pages, so we need to move on. I love Kevin Smith as the Warlock. He's so great. No small parts. He really makes something of this character. And we needed that. We needed a little something wonderful in this Warlock character. Otherwise, we wouldn't really give credit to him. But we do, because Kevin Smith is amazing. Command Center. It's a basement. So John McClane being John McClane. Thomas Gabriel is the guy who shut down NORAD with a laptop. So here we are making a point of the level of villain we are up against. And I love that. We're now pointing out the level of villain that we're up against. I don't know what's in that building, but I'm assuming I assure you. I don't know what's in that building, but I assure you it's not Social Security numbers. So not only do we get the hints of the level of Thomas Gabriel and what we are up against, someone who shut down NORAD with the laptop. But now we get that in this building, there's something very serious that he is after. We don't quite know what it is yet, but we're upping the stakes in multiple places. At every turn of the film, we're trying to up the stakes to keep you engaged, to keep you going, and it absolutely works. And here's another level of him, who we're up against, and what he's after. Detective, covering the camera with your hand does not shut off the microphone. That's good. When he's like covering the microphone, can you track where he's at? He's like, detective, covering the... It just shows, again, the times they point out John McClane's age is very tasteful, done very well, and relatable. And we're like, oh my God, really? But it's fun. It's done well. I love it. They're not trying to make fun of him. They're just trying to make fun of the situation. Yeah, he's older. Yeah, I don't know as much as you guys do about, computers. And he even says that, I don't know much, but I'm still going to come get you. I'm still going to come get you. Gabriel gets to Lucy. Okay, so here's the point. When Gabriel gets on the phone with Lucy, and Lucy's stuck in, because they shut down the electricity, Lucy's stuck in the elevator, and then he calls Lucy, but he's on the other line with John, and he's trying to have the conversation with Lucy, saying, we're going to come get you, we're the safety, we're the police, we're going to come get you, and John's like, hang up, he's like, she can't hear you. Here's where the playfulness comes into fact. Here's where I love Timothy Olyphant as Thomas Gabriel, because we're no longer angry and serious. He's finally being playful. And this is why I say, if they made the wrong choice of the direction of this character. If they would have gone more playful with this character, like Hans Gruber, it would have been a much better character. And I would have enjoyed the character more, and I think Timothy Olyphant could have really shown off his ability by having that level of playfulness with that character. Again, we're not in Silence of the Lambs. We're not in Seven. We're in, the world of Die Hard and the comedic world of John McClane. The sassy comedic world. And so we should have the villain that matches that. And I think this part shows that off, that's the character we wanted, not the serious, angry Thomas Gabriel that we get throughout the rest of the film. Okay, moving on. Oh my God. So now we find out, here's where we find out that Woodlawn is like the backup of the accumulated wealth of the entire country. And of course, why is it all like that? Why is this system in place? Thomas Gabriel set it up. Well, of course. I was not necessarily shocked. Again, like I said in the last one, this is one of those reveals what I didn't expect, but wasn't shocked by. I go, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but of course, that's how it is. And it's brilliant. It's wonderful. Oh, I love that when Matthew Farrell realizes, he even says, they're going after the money. When he realizes they're going after the money and he shuts it down, he not only shuts it down, but he becomes, to a lesser degree, he becomes John McClane. He becomes that guy, because he's like, I'm shutting it down. And I'm not telling them what the password. I mean, he holds out for a very long. Actually, he holds out the entire time. Like, I'm not telling you I'm doing what's right. I'm stopping you from doing this, and I'm not giving you the password. Here's where we get that character progresses in who he is and becomes, to a lesser degree, that the same characteristics as John McClane. Like, I'm going to do what's right, and I'm going to sacrifice more or less myself to do what's right. Okay, moving on. John. When John McClane's like, damn hamster, when they're in that cooling tower and that guy that's doing parkour over the place, again, the camera angles and movements are gorgeous. Here we are, this guy doing parkour, and they did really well following him, and the camera movements and angles are brilliant. The coloring, because we're in a completely different environment, the cooling tower, and it's all frostbitten, and so they've got that real bright blue, like, in your face. The cinematography is great. Come on, people. It's an action film, but that doesn't mean the cinematography can't be great, and it is. And this scene shows that off. That quick little fight with that guy, and then he gets him. Oh, when he gets him, every time I'm like, oh, when he goes through the fan, and I'm like, oh man, oh, oh. when Holly's like, you need to get a bigger set of balls, and then Farrell's like, wow, I know that tone. It's just weird coming from somebody with hair. That always makes me laugh so hard. I know that tone. It's just weird hearing it from somebody with hair. Oh, God. Brilliant dialogue. Very, very well written. Brilliant dialogue. If any of this is ad-libbed, then they were just brilliant. Because these are great lines. When John steals the truck, again, more brilliant angles and movements with the camera when he first steals the truck. Wow, great, great. Freddy, goddammit, they have my daughter. I can do that. Hold on. I love that. We've written characters. I get it. We've written characters. This is a movie. I get it. It's fiction. This is a movie. But they still try to bring home relatable, realistic elements. Fucking hacker bullshit. You know, he won't answer to Freddy. He wants him to call him Warlock. That's a real kind of an element to people and ridiculous. But then he's like, they've got my daughter. And he's like, you see it in his acting. You see it in the performance. Kevin Smith. He takes that beat and he's like, I can do that. You see him process. I'm not going to. This is serious. They have his daughter. His daughter's life is at risk. And I'm not fucking around. And it's brilliant in the performance. You can see it in his face. Great performance. And fun little part. I love that. Holy shit. Okay, like this sequence is what made me fall in love with this movie. Like it blew my mind when the airplane comes after the truck. This whole sequence. Now, nowadays when I watch it, I get how much computer is in it. But when I saw it in 2007, this was like we're trying to stay on the cutting edge of computer generated, special effects as much as possible. Like even like when we watched Jurassic Park in '93, please say it was '93. I'm not going to look it up because we're at an hour 2. But when we watched Jurassic Park in 1993, we were like on the cutting edge of special effects, and our minds were fucking blown. And now when you go back and watch it, you're like, wow, it looks fake and it looks like there's a film over it. It's not fantastic anymore. Whereas this is the same thing. When I saw it in 2007, I was blown away with this whole action sequence with the airplane coming after him and going up and the truck, and John gets just fucked up and everything's torn up, but he's still going, and it's just insane. And what is that spiral, highway thing? Where is that? It's all computer. It's all fake. I don't think that's real, but I believed it, and it was brilliant, and it had me on the edge of my seat. It was amazing, and I still watch it today and go, wow, that is like next level, Mission Impossible, crazy ass shit. The only difference is, Ethan Hunt doesn't get fucked up nearly as much as John McClane gets fucked up in this movie. Like, John McClane gets he gets torn to shit. By the end of the movie, he's barely hanging on, but he's pushing. Why? I used that line in the beginning. The most committed wins. And he is committed to not only getting not only stopping Gabriel, but getting his daughter back. And so that's what drives him, no matter how much he's been through. And this huge action sequence, he is still going. He is still going. On your tombstone, on your tombstone, it should read, always at the wrong place at the wrong time. How about yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker? Okay, here's where it works. This is an example of you reused yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and it works brilliantly. I loved it. And if you watched my review of With a Vengeance, Die Hard with a Vengeance, I was not in love with the use of yippee-ki-yay in that one. It felt like a throwaway, whereas this one feels as perfect as the original. As perfect as the original. The only reason why I say this is a cut above the original is because the nostalgia factor is there. Like, we want him to say this at some point, and then they pick the perfect point, and it means more to us than the original, even though the original is the original. It's like hearing Arnold say, "I'll be back again." It's not the original, but we love it more. Why? Because we remember the original and we want him to say it again. You know, and it's that tiny just edge of like, it's more because we want it and we got it at the perfect point. And this did it brilliantly. How about yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker? I love that Matthew Farrell gets one of the bad guys. He shoots one of the bad guys. Great. Fantastic. I love it. And then when he's all doped up at the end, he's like, not that girl, or something like that, where he's like thinking about John's daughter. He's like, not that girl. Besides, after all we've been through, I hate to have to beat you to death. Again, that comedy is there. It's fun. But I have a feeling that John McClane respects Matt Farrell by the end of the film. And if something were to happen between Matthew Farrell and his daughter, I think that he would accept it, but a hard pill to swallow. But I still think he would accept it because he has built a new respect for Matthew Farrell by the end. He says, "Thanks for saving my daughter's life." Well, what was I going to do? That's what makes you that guy. So I love that they returned that brilliant line to Matthew Farrell's character, where we get that Matthew Farrell has taken on that mentality of, I'm going to do what's right at any cost. Great way to end the film, more or less, because he goes back and talks to Holly real quick. But I feel like that's really the ending. That's the ending of the film. I love that. They could have cut there, and I would have been fine. They have that quick little talk with Holly, you know, I'm going to the hospital, please, you know. Did he ask about me? Oh, God, aren't I in enough pain? Like, which was cute. It was fine. And then, well, how do we end with Creedence? I fucking love Creedence. And that was a great, you know, song to end on. Anyway, Live Free or Die Hard. In my opinion, it is a half star better than the original. Mostly because of the nostalgia factor. Another like huge advantage is the strides we have come in action film sequences, camera movement, cinematography, choreography for fight scenes. You know, all that is just it's a huge step above 1988, and so that's why I love this movie so much. Anyway, I'll get you another review as soon as possible. I hope you listened to this whole thing and didn't click me off like 10 minutes in because I annoyed you. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll get you another one soon. Love, Live Free or Die Hard.